number one source. Sports Card Nation. The hobby is the people. Sports Card Nation.
What is up, everybody? Welcome to episode 296. Hope if you went to the National, hope you enjoyed it. Hope you had safe travels. Hope you didn't get COVID. We had a few people that was in our group that unfortunately got it, but they're doing okay, thankfully. And I know I've heard some other people who got COVID from the show. And that's the thing. COVID is going to be, unfortunately, kind of a strain of the flu probably from now on, right? But thankfully not to the pandemic proportions it once was. So hopefully you're doing well. Hopefully you got some nice cards to add to your collection from the show. And maybe you met this gentleman we're back on the air with for this episode at the National. That's Dr. Collectible, a.k.a. Darryl Garner. And this is the conclusion of the conversation we had originally. So this is part two. We had one last week, and so this is the continuation and conclusion of that conversation. So you can listen to this, and if you missed the first part, go back, or vice versa. Great guy doing great ambassadorship in the hobby, and we're happy to have him as a guest on this show. So we're going to take a quick 30-second break and then be back with the conclusion of the Darryl Garner, a.k.a. Dr. Collectible, conversation.
Hobby News Daily is your homepage of the hobby, providing original writing, exclusive gem rate data, a daily morning minute podcast, and some of the best content creators in the hobby. Remember, hobbynewsdaily.com and at Hobby News Daily on social. Happy collecting!
Now to the conclusion of our conversation with Darryl Garner, Dr. Collectible. How many weekends of the year, there's 52 weeks in the year, how many weekends would you say, at least one of the days, if not both, you're at a show somewhere, even if it's in Atlanta or somewhere even closer to home, but where you're not, just at home kind of refreshing or decompressing. Out of 52 weeks, how many would you say are hobby? You're working in the hobby in some form or fashion?
I can say last year, no exaggeration, none. I wish I could tally up how many flights I took last year, how many trips I took on the road. I can tell you last year, I had an opportunity to go home. Last year in December. And for the first time in my life, I paid my mom bill. And she has a great husband as well. Tim, great individual. God, look, as a stepfather, done nothing but right by me and my mother and my sister and my family. But I spent a December with them, a little bit of November. So I want to say for 4 weeks, 6 at most, I didn't do nothing for 6 weeks. Out of them 54 weeks, if I'm not mistaken, 54, 56. So in that time frame, I got a chance to be with my mom for the month of December. I was still working. That's when I first started getting in with Fanatics Live. Things that nature, had started a partnership deal with them to start doing content for their platform. But still, though, I was still able to be at home during that time. But yeah, at least I want to say 6 weeks out of that year, I wasn't doing nothing hobby. 6 weeks, at least that and that's what I can say that's what I can remember. Every week was dedicated to the hobby. I made amends with myself. Let me tell you what I said at the beginning of the year. I had a very interesting conversation with Prison God at Coach Collision. And I remember he had it was his first year doing the card star game. And I remember doing the content, things of that nature. This is one of my first card shows that I ever went to as well, years back. And he remembered me and things of that nature just throughout the years doing content. He said, hey, you keep doing what you're doing, you might end up in this game next year. And you got guys like Mojo, King of Cards, Ralph Cards in this game, Mama Breaks, C Blast, And I can keep going. But for me, when he told me that, that's when I dedicated the year. I said, you know what? So-and-so that been on Topps card, I want to do that. But I need to outgrind everyone. I have to outgrind. I have to drop content every single day. I maybe didn't put nothing on my page that year for maybe like, I would say a week long full of days where like I just didn't maybe put none up, or I was dealing with family, or it was a holiday, something like that. But I can literally tell you, out of the whole year, maybe there was about a week full where I just didn't do anything. And that's sporadically throughout the year of the time frame. I can say at least a week worth where I didn't do anything. So I made sure that I was at the Mint Collective. I was at Coach Collision. I wanted to go to every show. And then on top of that, for 3 years, I watched everyone make content. So for me, the biggest thing for me, even in that standpoint, is all that traveling and all that stuff I'm doing, is because I know there's some kid at home, there's some adult at home that did not make it to this show. And they're watching the show through my content. So I'm out there going, interviewing every vendor, trying to figure out, what this business is about, what they do. Because once again, I was that person for 2 to 3 years, trying to find myself in the hobby, creating content. And once again, that's what I do it for, just to put that aspect out there. But yeah, that was it. I want to say for that time frame in a year, 6 weeks where I was at home, a week where I literally dedicated nothing but probably just to myself or family or something like that. So that's how much I wanted it. I hope I explained that right.
No, you did. Hey, listen, let me to give you everyone the shorthand right. This is one of the hardest working guys in the hobby, and self-admittingly, you know what I mean. You're doing it, and you want to do it, even though it's tiring, it's a grind. You're still enjoying the process, and that sort of thing. When
Yes, sir.
and here's the other thing. People think, I know this is not the case, but I think there are people who think, like, hey, you go to the show on Saturday, Sunday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and then the rest of the week you can do whatever the heck you want to. We both know that's not the case. You're doing stuff on Mondays, Tuesdays, Wednesdays, Thursdays, and Fridays. It's not just a show on Saturday and Sunday. So this is not,
Yes, sir.
people who think like, hey, you fly in, you work 2 days, and then you party hardy or rest for 5 days. They're thinking wrong, because that's not how this goes. So I want to mention that, and
Yes, sir.
others in the hobby as well. The hobby's not just 2 days a week. The hobby is 7 days.
It's some every day.
Yeah. So let's make that. I think most people know, but I think some people don't realize that. So for those folks, this is a commitment, man. This is a grind. You're doing it. You're doing a terrific job of it. But
Thank
when
you,
you're
sir.
not in the hobby and doing hobby related stuff, is there something that is relaxing, like something you go to, that you enjoy, whether it be maybe just, hey, closing my eyes and putting my headphones on? Like, what's your non-hobby thing that you enjoy doing, that kind of gets you refreshed and recharged? Do you have something?
Yeah. Every time I go home, come back, reflect on what's going on, I get away and play video games. That's my one getaway. Once again, I told you years ago, I kind of sold my Xbox Series X to like focus fully just on bidding. I didn't want no distractions, no nothing. I was on eBay every day, this, and that. But to get away from just collectibles and the hobby, video games would do it for me. I recently just got the not NCAA, but EA Sports Football that just recently came out. Just recently been playing like the 2K, the Kobe version, the Kobe edition. Recently just been playing that, like, I want to say like 3-4 months ago. So yeah, I just started getting back on the game. So that has been helping me out. But before the game, I want to say for me, listening to music. I love music. I collect music as well, but if it's like vinyls, big fan of AMG, and what they're doing with music collectibles. So for me, I love music. I love listening to music. Once again, that goes back to me being a dancer back in the day, being a choreographer. So music always takes me away, especially when I'm traveling, things of that nature. It just bring me back to maybe listening to some childhood music or listen to something that's up to date. It's just refreshing, especially coming across a lot of people at shows, taking pictures, doing content, um, the music. Sometimes even in a show, at a show, I might go away for 30 minutes, sit to myself, and listen to music and eat. Cause once again, that just recharges me, and then it gets me back going to what I need to do.
Yeah, no doubt. And you need that personal time, that personal space, especially you're dealing with people all day. And as much fun as that is, so
Mhm.
everyone has a limit. Like I just need a break. I need to recharge, get some nourishment, and get back out there. No one can fault you for that. Completely get that. You mentioned your background in dancing and acting. I'll kind of answer this question for you. It's probably made being Dr. Collectible and being sort of on the front lines probably easier because you're sort of used to being in front of people. Um,
Yep.
so speak to kind of the background there and what you do now. It's made that transition, I imagine, easier to do than if someone wasn't a dancer or an actor. Let's put it that way.
Yeah, a lot of that has where being in front of the camera, being around people, things of that nature, it kind of rubbed off into creating content. For example, I can be myself, and all of a sudden I can click and be like, "Hey, what's going on, guys? Your boy Dr. Collectible here. This is Sports Card Nation podcast. You might want to tune in every so and so, so and so. Like I can just click in, and it's automatic. Like a lot of people, when they figure out my work ethic and they start seeing like me in the aura what I'm doing. Like I've heard names of One Take Jake, and all kind of stuff because once again, they really truly see when they see me in the act, not what I edit and put it out there, but they see that oh wow, this guy is really what he is. A lot of my stuff it's not sometimes even edit. I might just put up the whole thing, captions, boom, put it out because the take was just so good. So for me, that acting, dancing led off into being able to transition to content creating. Um, I wasn't really talking about businesses or things of that nature, but I've learned how to transition the business aspect into content creating and just making it what it is for myself. So once again, like I said, I can just click and what's going on, guys? Your boy Dr. Collectible here. We at the National. I'm with my people, Sports Card Nation podcast. Like it just rubs off the tongue completely. I don't know why, but that I guess that just comes from that work ethic and knowing myself and being truly comfortable with myself as well. That's sometimes that I found out being around the content creator. Just be comfortable. It ain't nothing wrong with doing a take 2, 3, 4. You want to put the right content out there, but be comfortable with yourself. And I think that will make you comfortable in your content, which then it becomes genuine. It becomes you. I'm not getting, once again, people be like, hey, it's Dr. Collectible, but they also probably will feel like, hey, I know Darryl Garner too. It's because it's just all naturally. It's truly me. It's not an act at all. So dance and acting helped me 10 times in the space that I'm in now when it comes to content creating. I can definitely tell you that was a plus because I probably wouldn't have enough courage like some of these kids like Eli. Um, he's doing a great job at a young age. The Blake now, another kid is doing a great job at a young age creating content. I was not doing that at their ages. So kudos to them and their parents and what they're doing with them. But that's where I feel like I am with myself, man. I feel like I'm a kid all over again in my teenage years, creating that content and putting it out there to the world in a comfortable way as I can.
Yeah, awesome stuff. And like you said, if you're comfortable in your skin, I think that's half the battle right there, right? Is
Yes,
hey,
sir.
me, you can go, let's do this. And, you know, so many people aren't at that point. You almost got to, like, I don't want to say train, but like get there. But for
Yep.
you, it's more of a natural thing. And like you said, between dancing and acting, it makes it easier to be yourself. Because I always say I'm not a dancer, so I'm not giving any dancing. But I know this much, Darryl. Like, if you can dance, if you're a good dancer, you're probably most likely an extrovert because so there's people who are actually good dancers that don't want to do it in front of people. So if you're
Yeah.
good, because they feel like people are critiquing them or watching them. But if you're a good dancer and can just do it in front of a group, a crowd, on stage, like everything else is going to be probably easier because dancing is probably the most vulnerable you can kind of make yourself.
Yep.
I think, because everyone's looking at you because not everyone's dancing. If everyone's dancing, then it's watching. But when there's only a few people, right? Everyone's watching, and you got to be confident to get to that point. So I could see, the correlation and why you're so natural at what you do now.
Time to hear from one of our great sponsors, but Sports Card Nation will be right back after that.
Iron Sports Cards is your #1 source for all your PSA and other grading submissions. Their elite status improves turnaround times. Heck, they even provide the card savers. Their chat rooms provide updates on all your submissions. They also offer wax options and single cards to cover all the bases. Check them out on Facebook at Iron Sports Cards Group or on the web at ironsportscards.com, or even give them a call at 1-877-IRON-PSA. Rob's got you covered.
Let's go! You are listening to the Sports Card Nation podcast.
I got to ask you this, a little funny question here. Has anyone ever come up to you and asked you for medical advice?
Hey, yo, hold on. All right, so look, I haven't got the medical advice yet, but I've had people come to me and be like, "Well, you ain't got no PhD, do you?" I'm like, "No, I don't have a PhD. I don't. I wanted to be a doctor growing up. That's something I wanted to do, but no, I don't have a PhD. I've had people come to me about, my advice on my on cards. Because my dad, he used to clean his cards. He know how to preserve his cards. So, one of my biggest things was like, I want to, when I sign my name on like my cards, things of that nature, I do Doc RX. Is to say to medicate the hobby in certain ways. And that's something that I wanted to do was, when I first started, I wanted to create a cleaning kit. It was like 4 or 5 years ago and call it like the Dr. Collectibles kit. It'll come with, card sleeves, something easy. I'm not Kurt's Car Care or Mr. Minty or nothing of that nature, but I wanted to give something to the hobby what my dad taught me at a young age on how he preserved his cards. One thing I can say, he kept his cards in brown paper bags, but he had them in the card savers, the sleeves, in the booklet. And then he'll have them in like brown paper bags or he'll have them in boxes. So for that being said, it's like, I haven't got that, but I have got a lot of jokes throughout the years and recent time where, people do come at me with the doctor jokes. And I love it. Like I said, I love it because, it's a sense of humor. But for you to ask that question, that was very interesting. Like I said, a lot of that has came from people asking me, do I have a doctor's degree or a doctorate or something like that? So,
well, I mean, I hope you didn't take it. I just think sometimes people just think maybe they think you're a doctor like 9 to 5, and then like you're still in the hobby. And so, hey, man, I got this ailment. Can you take a look at this? Like, what's going on with I just wondered if you got something like that. But
you know what? To mention, I have a lot of friends back at home that I help sell. Like a lot of my friends back in East St. Louis that lives out there, a lot of them have been in situations where they hit me up like, yo, I see what you're doing now. Could you look at my old collection? Like I literally just looked at a friend of mine named Roscoe. He's in a group called the Sports Wave. I've been in this group for like the past like 8 or 9 years. We all talk about sports, but he recently hit me up. He's the administrator of that group. Never really talked to him. Recently hit me up and was like, hey, would you check out my sports cards? And we was on FaceTime for like, I want to say a good hour, and I was just scamming through what he had, told him what I felt like could be valuable. And from there, hopefully he can help himself. He's not in the hobby, but that's how we get people interested, you know? That's them different ways. Something I don't even talk about on the internet at all. This is my first time actually speaking on this, but once again, that does happen behind closed doors. So I'm kind of glad you brought that up, because I do a lot of that behind closed doors where I help people out, especially back at home where they like, hey, I got this collection or I got this. Could you tell me what this could be worth? So yeah, it does happen. It does happen, but it's a lot of it's behind closed doors. A lot of people reaching out to me personally.
Yeah, yeah, like you said, you never know. Maybe that person catches the bug, the itch, and then the next thing you know, they're standing next to you at the show with some cards they bought, right? And hey, thanks, Dr. Collectible. After our conversation, I love this stuff. Like, I'm getting into this, and you never know. It just could be from one conversation, right? That's all it has to take, and that sort of thing. You know, we already spoke to you. Do a lot of traveling. You go to all these shows. I know you love every show. This is not necessarily a slight. We got the National come. This will be out. The National will be in the books. But is the National the show for you, or not necessarily? Like, what's your? Do you have one you really, really, really look forward to? Maybe over the others? Is it the National? Is it something else? Maybe, and why?
Yeah, I do have a few favorites. I couldn't tell. I couldn't pinpoint them, but I would say this. This is how I would break it down for me and for shows and what I have experienced. First off, I'm excited for things that are new, such as Fanatics Fest, what they're doing in New York. I'm excited for that. National for me, and my first National was last year. Got a chance to have my dad come out and experience that as well in Chicago. Once again, from East St. Louis, it's only about 3.5 hour drive to Chicago, maybe 4. So to experience the National for me, I consider it the Super Bowl of sports car shows. This is when you got the college football and you're talking about all the bowls that are going on, but everybody talking about the playoffs. This is the playoffs right here. Who ready? Who ready to get it in? Who ready to make the big sales? Who ready to network? Some people that you may not ever see in your lifetime will probably be there. Content creators that you may see that you've been watching for the past years, then people are probably going to be there. For me, the National is once again the Super Bowl of all card shows. That's just how I look at it. That's my experience from it. People may not agree. People may think others, but that's for me personally. Now, there are some amazing shows out there. Coach Collision was my first show I attended years back. I want to say 4-5 years ago, something like that. I love the Bay Area Car Show. That's another show out there in Florida and in the Tampa area, more like Clearwater. Amazing show. It's free to attend. Not only that, the owner and what he do, I do nothing but support him. Anytime he tell me to come out, I definitely make sure I make it. So that's another great show. I can keep going. I want to name a few more. Hobby Slam.
Okay.
Hobby Slam is another great show in Miami. I've always come across someone, especially in the Hispanic culture, that say, hey, this is my first show. So I know there's diversity going on out there, and we're bringing more people in that show. So I'm always grateful to work with them guys. Another show would be the Crown Jewel in Rhode Island. I've worked with them the past couple of years, worked on their first show, and it's well their second show. Amazing show. Not one of the biggest shows, but I made it upon me to add them to my road to the National, to help get them that promotion, because I believe in the people in that show, and they have done nothing but treated me good, and they also give back to the community. So them are a few shows. I wish the Mint Collective could come back. I love that whole experience in Vegas, networking. But there are, like I say, a lot of shows that I can just keep naming that I've been to. The Flip Trade show in Alabama that just happened this past Saturday. Another great show that's getting bigger and bigger. I mean,
and then
man,
listen, there are going to be some new
much.
ones. They're going to be. I don't know how you're going to fit it in your schedule, but you know just as well as I do. There are going to be some new ones that will come in. Like we're going to have to make the year longer so you can get all these in the year. Still get some family time in there
Yes, sir.
as well. We're gonna have to make we're gonna have to go to like a 400-day a year calendar to get some of these newer shows that are popping up. So
I do want to add. I do want to add in there one thing.
Yeah, go ahead.
Charlie's Collectible show. They gave me an opportunity to be able to host my own show out here in Atlanta. Look like we might be pushing for September. Promotion will be out soon. But there's not many shows going out here in Atlanta like that. Coach Collision, I would say, is probably the biggest show that happens out here, sports card related. And there are other shows like the Georgia Collectible Show and others. But Charlie's Collectible Show, they have not only just sports card, but TCG. Like 2 weeks, I was just there, and they had the lady. I don't know if you watch anime, but I watch Dragon Ball Z. They had the lady Linda that does the voice of Frieza in Dragon Ball Z. They're doing signings, talking to people, and I just think it's a dope show. I'm looking forward to working with them, and they're giving me a great opportunity to help build on the success that they have. Been talking with this show for the past year and a half when they was just starting to start off. So a year and a half in the making, they're finally doing what they're doing. They just reached out to me and was like, hey, I think it's time. So that's one of the new shows that I think would be great to attend if you're in the Atlanta area. Charlie's Collectible Show.
There you go. And your schedule just if it was even possible, your schedule just got busier. All right, yes, I got one more question, Darryl.
Yes.
Hobby Magic Wand. It's obviously not a real thing, but I don't do this every guest, but I'm giving it to you. It's a magic wand. You got one hobby related wish. You can use it on anything hobby you want. I give it to you. What are you doing with it?
Can I be man? I mean, I wish I could wish for like world peace or something like that with this.
Well, it's gotta be. Well, you can wish for hobby peace. It's gotta be hobby related. I like the world peace thing. I like the world peace thing, but it's gotta be a hobby related.
For me, if it wasn't hobby related peace everywhere, for me, and more of a personal aspect, I've been blessed to get my own sports card, to work with some of the most interesting businesses in this hobby. But for me, as a collector, I want every Kobe Bryant one-on-one. Right now, I'm building a Pot 1 collection of every year that he played, an autographed version of the card, and it's a Pot 1 of that year that he played. It's not one-on-ones. We're talking about Pot 1. So 9 times out of 10, most of these individuals either got these cards based, and 9 times out of 10, they got Kobe to sign the card. Whether if it was at a game, event, something like that. Them are the cards that I've been collecting because, once again, I find a base card with a Kobe Bryant auto. It's graded, PSA, Beckett, whatever. And as long as it's Pot 1, I'm grabbing it. That's my biggest thing. I would love to finish off this collection. It's been 4 years in the making. I almost felt like I was going to go broke a few times trying to get the collection together, my brother. Woo! Hey,
when you wave this wand,
that's where the 3 jobs come from.
If this wand was real and you waved it, the card would be on someone's desk 1 minute, and then they turn their head and it's gone. And
it'd be right in my lap, brother. It'd be right in my lap, Kobe Bryant. It'd be right in my lap.
There you go. Well, listen. good luck, adding to that impressive collection. I know this will be out after the Nationals actually done, but I'm looking forward to seeing you again here in a few days. At the time of this recording. I don't know where you get your energy. If you bottle and sell it, I'll buy some. But God bless you, man. You're one of the hardest working guys, people in the hobby, and keep going, man. And you're doing a great job. And like you said, whether it inspires an older person, a younger person, right, and you have that sort of impact, that can't be belittled. That's important. You never know what kind of impact you have. And even if we know it's more than one, but even if it's one person, that's quite an impact. So God bless you, man. Keep going. I'll see you here in a little bit.
Hey, and for everyone that's going to be viewing it, first off, I want to say, brother, thank you for reaching out to me. For the people that are seeing this episode, I want y'all to go out and support this man here. He reached out to me. Is a great individual, business related. I wish I would have seen your message earlier. I apologize about that.
That's all right. Listen. I hope both of us are going to be doing this a long time. So,
hey man, can't wait. And also, I'm hoping. I'm not guaranteeing nothing, but I'm gonna make sure that you get that picture that you need in order to get that thing in the booklet, man. With the cards. I think that's just an amazing idea.
Yeah. Well, I'll get you my email. We'll make that happen. So, all right, Dr. Collectible, man, hardest working person, one of the hardest working person in the hobby. I don't know. Someone can only be tied with you. They ain't beating you. So. And good luck to them if they're even trying that. So, hey, I'll see you soon.
Hey, see you soon, bro.
All right. Once again, I'd like to thank Darryl for making some time for the show, and especially with his schedule, as we talked about during the interview. Right, he's got a hectic schedule. He's traveling the country to shows, so check him out at a show near you. A really great guy, really nice guy. And is enjoying what he's doing. So, and that's important. So, once again, thanks to Darryl.
Time for our Hobby is the People Announcer of the Week.
This is King NASCAR from the NASCAR Radio Podcast. And remember, the hobby is the people.
If you'd like to be the Hobby is the People Announcer of the Week, do a WAV or MP3 file and send it to sportscardnationpc@gmail.com.
That's a wrap for this week. Huge thanks to you, the listeners out there, because without you, there is no us. If you like the show, we truly appreciate positive reviews. Big ups to our great guests who drive the show and our awesome sponsors who make it all possible. Sports Card Nation will be back next week. But don't forget to catch either Hobby Quick Hits or Card Mentions coming up on Monday. I'll leave you with this. How do we change the world? One random act of kindness at a time. Remember, the hobby is the people.
For nearly 50 years, Sports Collectors Digest has been the voice of the hobby, bringing you comprehensive coverage of the sports collectible industry. From industry news, auction results, market analysis, and in-depth stories about collectors and their collections, Sports Collectors Digest has everything you need to know about the hobby. SCD is also your leading source for listings of sports collectible dealers, card shops, card shows, and the latest from the industry's top companies. To check out all the latest news or to subscribe to the hobby's oldest magazine, visit sportscollectorsdigest.com or call 1-800-829-5561.
Hobby Hotline is the hobby's only live interactive call-in show. Join some of your favorite hobby personalities every Saturday, 11 a.m. Eastern, 8 a.m. Pacific, to discuss the hottest hobby topics. If you miss us live, catch us after the fact on all major podcast platforms. Follow us on socials at Hobby Hotline.